Oh, don't worry, Captain. I was looking the other way. Don't you mind me?
Appreciate that, Jet. What's going on?
Of course. Oh, well, I mean, yesterday was a pretty stressful day. So,
Mhm.
as stressful as it was, you seemed pretty stressed out, and I know you're always checking in on us. So I just wanted to make sure that you're okay.
Oh, Jet. What do we deserve? What did we do to deserve someone like you, huh, Jet? What did we do so well that you just... How fortunate we are, Jet.
Oh no, it's not. I mean, Ilya was pretty straight yesterday, and he said, I mean, the vibes were pretty down. He made it pretty clear that he kind of yelled at me, said that we're not friends. It's only business. And I mean, listen, I'm not naive. I know we're all like, in a gang and we're on the streets and stuff, but that doesn't mean that, we're not a team, right?
Mm.
And I still care about everyone. I want everyone to get along. But I just want to make sure that everyone's okay.
Hmm. Look, I'm okay. Yes, it was a stressful day. You know, when, let's just say we had to get, enough materials in order to, you know, just we needed those materials. Very much needed them for our crew's sake. Fortunately, uh, I miscounted, and it wasn't 20K that we needed. We needed 10K. Unfortunately, we're about
Oh,
880 left. 880 short.
what? Oh my, we can get that like pronto.
Yes. Fortunately, we had some people running earlier, so I will be confiscating enough for myself and for our crew, of course, to hit that 10K mark.
Okay, yeah. John told me he like ran materials like pretty much all night.
Yeah, he turned in a fuck ton. He turned in thousands.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I told him, he needs to take care of himself. He
He
tends to
does.
just kind of like, and I had a really long talk with him. Actually, a few of us did, because he seemed pretty down.
Yeah, I know you ran your own crew, and what it comes down to is managing people, different personalities. Making sure that some people can, as long as everyone understands one another, I think that's what matters. If I understand your perspective, even if we may disagree on something, what matters is I take the time to understand your perspective on it. You understand it. You take the time to understand mine. You might still disagree with me, but at least you can see my point of view, where I'm coming from. So slowly but surely, we have to instill that into the crew. I believe as time goes on, unfortunately, these arguments are inevitable. But what matters is not the argument. What matters is after the argument, how it's handled afterwards. Do people take accountability for the things they said? Do people own up and improve and want to move forward? Or do they hold on to grudges? Do some people completely disregard things, take no accountability? All these things, every little thing matters after the argument. And I think with
Yeah.
what John did, what you guys did, what Ilya and Yaya did, I believed all parties apologized, understood the other's perspective, understood that, John, I think in that sense, from yesterday, I think everyone was right and everyone was wrong at the same time. I think John was right. Doing that shit at night was dumb. Um, your time could have been spent a little differently. But with that being said, they're looking for a lick. They know it's a dumb idea, and they know the likelihood is not high, so they're going for it. So what are we gonna do? John wanted to get out. That's fine. He regrets some of the things he did. Ilya regrets some of the things he did. We can move forward. We can move past it. I appreciate you coming to me, making sure that I'm good. I'm good. Jet, what happened yesterday is it's a drop in the ocean. Okay, I've been going through some shit every day of my life. When I have a good day, Jet, everyone else has a bad day. Everybody else. When I have a bad day, Jet, most people have a good fucking day. That's how it is. It is the
Yeah.
sacrifice. It is It is the burden that I must bear. I must answer the call. I am the warden of the North. I am the warden of Cyprus. And I will carry this weight. Why? Because I can take it.
Oh, I know you can, Captain Flash. I mean, honestly, you know, we kind of. I'd like to think me and you kind of go, a little ways back, right before even Cyprus. But I have a lot of respect for you, and I know I have a lot to learn from you as well. I have learned already from both you and Mr. Speedy, but that still doesn't mean that you're human too, right? I mean, you you know, I mean, as much as you can take it, I just want to make sure that you know that people are here for you as well, and that we also care about you, in that same way. And as far as yesterday goes, like I said, I had a little talk with John, and I completely agree with you. I actually think like pretty much what you said is spot on. That's exactly how I thought too, which is that I agreed with John's point of view, but I even gave John like a different perspective, which is that in that moment, while I agreed with John, I kind of was just more of the line of thinking, I got to spend some time with Ilya and Yaya, which I normally don't get to.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I got to actually get to know them better and they got to get to know me better and we grew closer in that moment. So it was kind of
Mm.
like, even though we might not have gotten materials, in that moment, we definitely grew closer in getting to know each other a little bit better. So there's still something like positive that came out of it. That's kind of what I told John, even though sometimes you think it's a waste of time, even though sometimes, it might not just be exactly what you're striving for in that like mission at the time. There's something that can still, be learned from it, some growth that can happen from it, something positive that can come out of it.
Mm. I couldn't agree more. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. You know, some people have different ways of going about things. Ilya, Yaya, obviously very down to clown, very down to. They would do what, like you said, most people would consider a waste of time, but they're in search for that lick. They're in search for that one score, that one hit, that one bump. They're trying to get their fix. And maybe John is looking for something a little bit more efficient, something a little bit more clean cut, something that he can see the end goal, he can see the finish line, something that he can strive towards, a path, a cleaner path. And I think what you said is exactly right. At the end of the day, you got to figure out what the fuck you're doing, what the fuck someone else is doing, find that middle ground, and be grateful that look for the positives. So I appreciate you having that perspective on things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, still at the end of the day, listen. I told you that as long as you know you don't call me the F word, like literally, I have the utmost loyalty to you. Like I will never disobey a direct order from you. It'll I again, I have complete faith in you as my captain. As for John, I know, sometimes he's been like messing up here and there, and he kind of, again, he had a little bit of a talk with Loco, myself, and David earlier, where it seemed like he was pretty down, and I didn't even know about some of the stuff that he told me.
How'd that go? I don't think I've heard
Um,
about that.
yeah, it happened this morning. He, after he worked really hard with like getting materials and stuff, there's some stuff that I didn't even know. Like David told me about some sort of incident with Captain Marty, and then John told me about like the incident with the stables or something, and then obviously the incident yesterday. I mean, I do feel like John is
The pushers
incredibly
have
hard
the
worker,
tea.
and he's honestly like one of my best friends too. He's kind of like a brother to me. And I know understand he like messes up from here and there, but I definitely do believe him in the guy. Like I know he will definitely learn from his mistakes and he will strive to always, do better because he really cares about all of us, like Cyprus as a whole. He
Mm-hmm.
always means to do well. And I think that's really like ultimately what it comes down to, right? Is like always your intentions. Always your intentions are always good. I don't think the guy like intends to do anything bad. He just has a lot to learn, and sometimes it just takes the right teachers, and I think you're that right teacher for him.
Good God.
But I do know that patience isn't something that goes on forever, right? Like, I mean, there's only a limited amount of patience, especially with
What is
some of
this,
the
bro?
dons in Cyprus. I appreciate and respect all of them, but um, when it comes to John, he is like that hard worker, and so I understand he's probably at the end of his leash, from what I gather. But if there's any consolation, at least from me to you, Captain Flash, I just ask that you do your best to just keep him safe.
I appreciate that, Jen. I know a lot of shit's been going on with him, you know. But that's the thing is he's at the end of the day he's inexperienced and he didn't understand how it works, but you know, I think in the last week he's made leaps and bounds of of an understanding and maybe a little bit more about who he is. You know, I'll tell you this. You know, I've had a conversation with him about, you know, overworking yourself. Of course, I think a lot of people have had that conversation with him, but mainly like, knowing who the fuck you are and knowing what value you bring to yourself and to the others around you. Right? I think he was, maybe slightly still is, under the mindset that the more money he brings in, the more loved he's going to be. I'm not gonna lie, bringing in more money's, of course, it's gonna get attention, maybe from those that you seek attention from, sure, but that's only gonna go so far. You gotta know who the fuck you are, and I think he struggled with that for a bit. So I've been trying to get him out of his shell. I think yesterday was actually good for him. Even though it was funny. He was apologizing yesterday for speaking his mind because he was yelling and shit. You know what I mean? He said he was,
Mm-hmm.
once he got back to the house and got his phone, he called me. I picked him up. He was like, these fucking idiots, these fucking guys, these fucking morons trying to, like, what the fuck is, these guys are the dumbest fuck. And I was just letting him go. I didn't say a word. I was just letting him go. I didn't say a word for minutes. And I can't lie to you, I was happy. I was happy, finally. Sometimes you got to hit your breaking point. Sometimes you just got to fucking unleash a little bit. And him venting to me is his version of unleashing a little bit. You know? So I think slowly but surely it is possible. But he's got a long road ahead of him. Still. But hopefully, he can be as constructive moving forward. But I
Yeah,
wouldn't, if I'm you, I won't worry about him. I know you care, and I appreciate that. But
care about all of us, our whole crew, but especially the people in our sub crew as well.
mm-hmm,
I just want us, to be able to get along, because I mean, I think teamwork and camaraderie, they go a long way. I think it's something that, quite honestly, like, I think we've been missing, even in some of these like times of need, right? Like some of these wars and whatnot. I feel like our communication and synergy isn't as good as it could be,
mm-hmm,
and I feel like only like yelling at each other isn't. I mean, I guess that's one approach, but I don't think that's usually like the best approach. But maybe maybe I'm being naive in that aspect, but that's just kind of how I've led my crew personally, and it's kind of always worked out.
mm-hmm. And we've got some big personalities in this crew. So
Yeah,
people are going to speak their mind as they should, as long as it's done within reason. And on top of that, if they go too far, as long as they know they went too far and can apologize and rectify that, then I can't lie. I want everyone to speak their mind. If they want to bitch each other out, they can bitch each other out. Figure it out. You know how to move forward after the fact, and rebuild from there. Sometimes. In your zone of barking.
but that goes for you too, Captain Flash. I mean, no disrespect, but again, I also know you want to hold things in too and take it, but I want you to be able to share with us too. I mean, it may not have to be me, but at least I hope you have somebody within, somebody close to you that you're sharing with.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. And I do. Don't worry, I do.
That's good. That's good. I know we don't get to spend a whole lot of time together, but I definitely would like to, make sure that we get to do some things together at some point if you want to do some stuff.
Absolutely. I want us to be hitting more jobs together. You know, not just that, but whether it's sanitation, fucking towing, it could be anything. I think, I'll let you in on this. We're gonna be spending a lot more time together as a sub crew. The stronger we are as a sub crew, I think the better it'll be, and then the easier it'll be to mesh with other crews as well.
Yeah, no, I agree, 100%. I was actually happy to see that a lot of people, even people part of my crew, got bought in yesterday, so that made me really happy.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm always trying to get to know more people part of the crew as a whole. But
We didn't know that.
especially, like I said, I
That's
got
dope
to know
though.
Ilya and Yaya a bit better yesterday, and so that made me really happy.
Very good. I'll try to make sure that continues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and I'll also work on making sure to communicate more as well in terms of when I'm around and whatnot. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but I try to make sure either to call you or message you to let you know when I'm around.
Yeah. Send me a text or give me a call. Leave a little message for a missed call or something like that. I've been waking up a little bit earlier, so I think we can probably overlap a little bit better now. Hopefully, if not, we'll figure it out. But yeah,
Yeah,
just when you wake up, send me a text and I'll give you a call when I wake up.
yeah, for sure. Sounds good.
Yep,
All right.
I am your cool slutty
Now,
daddy.
what questions, if any, do you have for me, my friend? Anything about money or fines or workload or interest, how farming's going, anything?
Hmm. I think my only question for you, Captain Flash, is
Are you
what
happy?
do you think I can improve on personally? What do you think I can do to be a better crewmate for our crew?
Hmm. Who do you think is the closest person in this crew to you, and the one you in the furthest, one you don't know much about in our sub crew?
Hmm. Closest person would have to be John. The furthest person would have to be Ilya.
Hmm. Now, my challenge for you for this coming week and the weeks to follow, this is a long-term thing, is when you wake up, you give every single person in our crew a call. Coco, Zane, Loco, everybody, Ilya, Yaya. Ilya, I can tell you what each person does on a day-to-day basis, whether they do it alone or whether they do it in pairs or a small group. My challenge to you is to find out what each person does, what their daily routine is. You don't have to change yours by any means, but I want you to spend time with each and every person, get to know them a little bit more, see what their daily routine's like.
Okay. Yeah. No, that sounds perfect. I can definitely do that.
It can be one at a time. It can be whenever whoever's around. It can be however you would like to organize it. Don't organize it at all. Just reach out. If they answer, go hang out with them. Figure out what the fuck they're doing. See how you can help. Whether it's getting your hands dirty, maybe it's a clean job. I know you're very adaptable, so you could probably mix in well with everybody and have a good time doing whatever job they're doing, which is good. And hopefully they can follow suit in that as well. But that's my challenge for you
Yeah.
for this week.
Yeah. I just like making friends, so it doesn't matter what they're doing, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely. I will.
Hello, can I
are at La
Make sure to
Mesa
reach out more
doing
to
Fanny.
like Ilya especially, but even the others I'm not close to. I think that's a perfect task, and I appreciate you for suggesting it.
Of course. I appreciate you, Jet. I know who you are. I appreciate you. You're a great fucking person. You're a great fucking worker. You're a great member of this crew. If there's anything I can do to help or any questions I can answer, please feel free to call. We can make time, or you can call or just ask over the phone. Either way, whatever you prefer.
Absolutely. The only thing I have to ask is that you do the same. Feel free to reach out to me anytime you need anything.
All right, I will. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Would you happen to be able to re-up me by any chance?
Absolutely. Where's your car?
Oh, I don't have a car. I have a bike.
Perfect.